Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays Hyper Rogue. Let's head back out into the world and see what we can find, see what we can do, see where we can get to. I think I want to keep focusing on just trying to get a victory, and to that end, I want to actually go into the jungle first. I think that the best idea right now, because we have the jungle available to us this early, is to head out. I was reading a strategy guide that actually recommended skipping the jungle entirely, and it said that if you do go into the jungle, you should only pick up rubies that you see lying around on the ground. You should not hack to the center of ivies. And I find the challenge of hacking to the center of ivies is often enough to justify it. But from the point of view of just trying to survive and get through the game as quickly as possible, that's definitely good advice. And I'm not speedrunning this. I have not even won this game once yet for all that I've been playing it. And I play this game quite a lot even when I'm not recording. And I actually record probably, as I've mentioned, several, I don't know if it's 10 videos that for every one that I throw out, but certainly I play this game a lot more than I upload it. And partly that's just because I want consistency in this series. I want to at least make it into the end game, and I can't actually do that as consistently as I would like. And so, part of that is just that the ending of this game is so abrupt a lot of the time that I'll be talking about an idea and then the game will end, and I'll kind of, be a little bit startled, and then it's like I have to wrap it up right there. And so I want to give myself enough time to run out of things to say, and once you get into the end game, that becomes a little bit easier because things get so tactical in the end game that I kind of lose my ability to think about anything else. Now, it looks like there's a crossroads coming up here, so we can get out. One thing that the guide confirmed that I was wondering about in the last episode is that getting more than 10 treasures does not affect orb spawn rates. All it does is makes more monsters appear. And so it's pretty much never a good idea, unless you're going for a high score, it's never a good idea to get more than 10 of any particular gem. Because the end goal of the early and mid game is to get 10 gems in 9 different types, and that's what unlocks the end game. So, alright, so how are we doing? We're doing pretty well. We just need one more of these, and then we can actually head into this living cave and do that next. We do want to get back to an icy land. So one thing that I've been kind of talking about recently with some friends and thinking about is this idea of how you approach a game and how the developer intended for the game to be approached. And I've kind of been working on this idea that I've been calling it recently wrong playing. And that's sort of a pun on the long play videos, which are basically just trying to show a game in as pure of a way as possible. So all you show is what was intentionally put in, and you try to show everything that was put in, so you don't do any speedrun skips, and you don't talk over it, you don't add anything, you don't subtract anything. And it's a way of just showing the game off so that people can make a decision whether or not they want to buy it without any kind of commentary or any kind of distortion. And I kind of picked that word as a little bit of a parody of a lot of people that I have encountered and exchanged words with who think that that sort of long play approach to gaming is the only way that people should approach a game, that the way that the developer intended a game to be played is the way that the game should be played. And I kind of bristle at that because I have this idea that, player freedom is kind of at the heart of games, and that games really exist, and we play games for the enjoyment of the player. That's why they exist, that's why we play them. And I talked about that a little bit at the end of the Zenith video, about why I didn't really have any reservation about stopping it before I found all 50 capsules. And I still have not found the 50th capsule. I still do not know where it is. But I had no real complaints or troubles with stopping it because I was playing the game for my own enjoyment and for no other reason, and so as soon as I stopped enjoying it, I stopped having a reason to play it, and I stopped playing it. Now, I would like to get into this land of perpetual motion, and it looks like we're going to be able to do that. There we go. It looks like that will stay a slime tile, which is very nice. That could end up being useful. I don't think it has that many uses, but it's something good to know because you can sometimes splash slime into neighboring areas. And so having something that will not collapse, there may be a use for that. Maybe an interesting challenge would be going into the game and seeing how I would make use of that, trying to find or create a situation. So, wrong playing is this idea that the player is sort of at the center of the game, and that the way you play the game is the way that is best for the player. And speedrunning is an example of that. It was sort of the reason I came up with this name and this idea is basically because I wanted to sort of point out some similarities that I saw between speedrunning and high scores and the sort of challenge videos that people like NerdCube do, where it just does something like, okay, you drive this car off of a cliff and I will try to shoot you in midair, kind of thing, of just trying to do silly things like that. And I'm really kind of a big fan of doing silly things in games. And I wanted to create some kind of unity or continuity between the different kinds of challenges and silly things that I saw people doing in games. How are we doing? 5 treasures from this area, so... Oh dear, okay. Okay, that's fine. I don't know how I managed to get those guys to line up, but I'm really glad I did. So we need 4 more from this area. So yeah, I really like the speedrunning community for a lot of reasons, but I feel like there are a lot of other kinds of gaming that I really like that don't have the kind of strength of community and strength of the sort of the approach of the community that I really like, especially in the Reddit speedrunning community, which is the part of the speedrunning community that I'm most active in. And I tried to be active in the high score community and just was not able to really engage with it in a way that felt meaningful because I just found it too... It's like, it was... I like that it's taken seriously. Like, I like that people put a lot of effort into it. But it felt like it was taken too seriously at the level of, like, suspecting people of cheating, kind of guilty until proven innocent kind of thing. And this idea of proving yourself, proving something. with how you're playing. And speedrunning community definitely has that, but there's very much this sense of camaraderie in the speedrunning community that I just really didn't see in the high score community. And this sense of, like, the other players were your enemies in the high score community that I just didn't like. And so I couldn't really integrate with that community as well as I have with the speedrunning community. And so I wanted to try and create a philosophy of gaming based on the things that I like about the speedrunning community. And so Wrong Playing is sort of the name that I came up with for that. And it's something that I want to create. I don't know if Wrong Playing, I'm still a little bit halfway there with, oh, that was an Orb of Safety. I thought it was an Orb of Storms. That was not what I wanted to do, but we can actually go into Relia now. So I'm not sure that Wrong Playing is the best name for it. It's just kind of a cute little pun that I came up with, and cute little puns tend to not make the best names. I'm thinking about, one of my friends actually suggested calling it Resistance Gaming, kind of in relation to resistance training, which I really like that because a really big part of what makes Wrong Playing for me is this sense of using the game as a tool to better yourself. And I've talked a little bit about how I kind of used to use Street Fighter as a way to look at my emotions in sort of a laboratory setting and try to understand what it is that makes me angry when I'm playing a game and how I'm reacting to different things, and try and understand how it is that I can control my emotions a little bit better. And I've kind of continued to do that with other games. Umihara Kawase is a big one where the game has a lot of things that could make me feel very frustrated, and I have a real opportunity to look at my own reactions. So we need 10 more gems from an area that we have not been to. And I think our choices are the vineyard, the forest, or possibly... Actually, it may be just down to the vineyard, the forest, or the temple, and I don't really want to do the temple today. I would like to do, the Dead Caves, which are also very slow and very dangerous. I would like to try and get a high score in the temple. That's something that I would like to do as a challenge run in the future. And this game has a lot of things that can really push my abilities in ways. It really pushes my ability to concentrate for long times. So Wrong Playing, at the heart of it, is about using games in that very player-oriented way, and I just really want to promote that idea more. And so that's kind of why I think Resistance Gaming is an equally good name, possibly even a better name. I would really like to hear what you think about that, if you think that one or the other title for it is better, if you think that there's some other thing that I could be calling it, or if you have any other thoughts about the idea, I would love to hear about them. So we're getting pretty close to the end game, and so I'm going to be wrapping up this episode relatively soon. And we just need one more wine, and then we can kind of say that we have made it to the end game. And I see one right over here, so... Now, the vineyard is a place where I have to be really careful, because it is very easy to get into a position where you're cornered, get checkmated. So this guy's going to come up to me in one step, and I can move to kind of meet him, or I can just stand here, or I can move towards this treasure. This guy is 2 steps away, and if I move to meet the other guy, they'll still be 2 steps away, but then they'll move up 1 step. So I don't think I'm in immediate danger, but I'm in a situation where it's really important to check, because there's a lot coming at me, and things are getting really tight really quickly. This Vine Spirit is still going to take 2 more turns to get up next to me. So I can kill this Vine Beast here, and then the Vine Spirit, and then we can grab the treasure. So that was a pretty tricky tactical situation. And actually the really tactical situation that I had in the last episode ended up being a nightmare to edit. I now have a better sense of how to edit tactics arrows into this game, but doing it the first time ended up keeping me up very late at night. So that's kind of a mixed blessing. I really like talking about tactics. I really like doing that kind of thing in this game. I have really cut myself off from that exit, which I really should not have done, because here's an exit over here. Let's see, is that to a forest? So let's head into the forest, see what we can do from there. And I think now that we have made it out of the area and we have 90 gems, 10 of each kind, I'm going to wrap it up, and in the next episode we will come back and see what we can do in the forest. So that episode will already be up. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next episode. If not, have a great rest of your day.